Hello people, how are you?
Hello Facebook, how are you?
My name is Lily on the Rick. I need to go back.
This is Serena the Sadie. Serena is the writer who can't write and the speaker who can't speak.
I need to do my voice.
Right, and me, well, I'm Jamila Doolin, also known as Serena's right-hand woman.
And I want to say
So yeah, Serena's whole goal, the whole reason he's on this platform right now is to motivate you. He wants to inspire you. He wants to help you achieve your goals so you can live the most amazing life you can dream of. Yeah, so for the last, was it just 1 week?
No, 2 weeks.
3 weeks, yeah. So for the last 3 weeks, we've been talking about priorities. Yeah, first we talked about personal priorities.
Not perfect.
Oh yeah, first it was professional priorities.
What do you need to do?
Right, so that was all about what you need to do to become amazing at your job.
And then we did up priorities.
Then we started talking about personal priorities, right, the following week.
Yeah, what do you do to be amazing?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that was about, like, you know, what do you need to do to be an amazing friend? Or what do you need to do to be an amazing companion?
Thank you for that.
Yeah, thanks for the like. We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
And then we talk about priorities.
Right, and then last week we talked about growth priorities, and that was all about
how to grow yourself as a human being.
Right, so that was all about how to grow yourself as a human being in order to become even more amazing.
I know my favorite because I like you. We do.
Yeah, and that is actually Serena's personal favorite because that's what he helps people do. He helps them grow to be even more amazing, a more amazing version of themselves.
And today, we're going to do the same party of
Today, we are talking about
the exciting miscellaneous priorities.
The ever so exciting miscellaneous priorities.
Miscellaneous priorities are things that you need to maintain your life.
Right, so miscellaneous priorities are the things you need to do in order to maintain your life.
And when we talk about achieving goals, we don't think about priorities.
Right, Serena said so often when we think of achieving our goals, we don't think about the miscellaneous priorities.
So what do you priorities?
Yeah, so what exactly do we mean by miscellaneous priorities? Can you give some examples or maybe define that, please, Serena? Getting an oil change. Putting gas in the car. So like the dailies.
The dailies, or like even supplies.
I'm sorry?
Orange supplies.
Or the little surprises?
Orange supplies.
Ordering supplies. Oh yeah, it's lots of fun.
Yeah, I think that we don't want to, but we have to.
Yeah, so I said, you know, I don't think we want to do these things, but we have to. And it's true. No, I mean, I don't know if the dailies are really loved, but you really don't love it when the dailies don't get done.
Well, a lot of people they don't understand that if you don't do the thing, then you won't be able to grow yourself, or you won't be able to get unstuck.
Right, so I said, look, what a lot of people don't understand is that if you don't get the dailies done, then you can't really grow yourself and you can't get unstuck. Those miscellaneous priorities, they have to get done.
Example. I have a good example.
You have a few examples?
This morning.
Okay, this morning, what happened?
Me and my kid were
Right, so this morning, Serena was working with his stage partner, Chris, and they were doing some shooting, and what happened? So the remote that you use for the keynotes, it just kind of said, not feeling it today.
And I wasted that time with him because I did not think about taking the remote.
Right, and what Serena said was, you know what, I wasted a lot of time with that because beforehand that wasn't something you planned for, so you didn't think to check the remote. You didn't think to make sure the remote was doing its thing because it had never not done its thing.
Yeah.
So
I thought we were ugly.
Yeah, because I was there yesterday. Serena did prepare. He did everything he needed to do, and maybe even a few extra things. But the one extra thing you didn't do was check the remote because, again, it had never been a problem.
Yeah, we got some stuff done, but not other stuff done.
Right. So what happens? Some of the stuff gets done. Some of the plan gets handled. But because of that remote issue, it didn't all get handled.
Yeah, so right after we left, I brand new remote.
Right. And so, solution was right after Chris left to go on with his day, Serena started handling this problem because it's now a priority. And you handled it by getting a new remote. But the point is, there was a new priority, a priority that you hadn't anticipated. So you handled it so that you could get your other priorities accomplished.
If you don't take care of these things, they get in the way.
And that's the whole thing. Serena said, look, if we don't take care of these things, they get in the way. So, example, Serena, you did go and you handled it immediately. But what if Serena said, you know what, I have this other priority to do. And you went and you handled that. And then it's time to shoot again and you've forgotten to deal with the remote. It's another time, it's another opportunity missed.
I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait. I just look at it. Mm-hmm. And if I did the evening,
right.
Cheers.
So what Serena said was, look, time is precious, time is valuable, and it's not a renewable commodity. Once it's gone, it's gone. You can't get it back, right?
Yeah.
So because of that, when Chris comes, they want to use their time wisely. And you can't use your time wisely if you have this broken remote. It can happen once because you don't foresee it, but it can't happen repeatedly because that means that you're not taking yourself and what you're doing seriously.
Yeah, and then if I don't take it like a body,
Right, and that also devalues the time and the respect of Chris because, Chris has things he has to do too. He doesn't solely work for Serena or work with Serena. He has other things to do. So, you're wasting his time as well.
Yeah. So if you look at all things you got a break and you sit on it and
Exactly. The same thing is true for cars. Nobody really looks forward to maintenance day, but don't do the maintenance and see what happens. If you don't get your oil changes, then what happens? Your lifters go out, and next thing you know, you've got a few $1,000s to pay. Don't get today I'm going in actually for car maintenance, not looking forward to it, but I'm tired of spending extra money on gas because my car needs a tune-up. So I can keep, I can be a grown-up and just suffer through car maintenance, or I can keep paying extra in gas. There's options.
There's a couple, you can't, when you doesn't have auto bird, the linger in your life.
That's right. What Serena said was when you don't take care of these priorities, they don't disappear. They don't just go away. No, they linger in your life, right? And then it's like, it's just always there. It's ever present. The consequences of it are there. The fact that you need it done is always in your head, just kind of churning around.
And if you're there, they get urgent.
Yeah.
The eventually of lifestyle are big issues.
Exactly. What Serena said was when you don't get your oil changed, then you have to spend money on bigger issues, which is so true. And you're talking car maintenance. And I know growing up we had a saying, if you take care of your car, then your car will take care of you. Yeah, so you have to, that's one of those where you have to do it. You may not want to, but if you don't want to be stuck on the side of the road.
You know what? And then they say, worst case scenario, if you were because $2 and that's $2 that she has been on other parties.
Exactly. Serena said, or even worse, you know, you get stuck on the side of the road, your car gets fixed, it costs you $2,000 plus towing and all this other mess that you have to go through. Now you've wasted more time and you've wasted more money. That might be $2,000 that you spent. What could you have done with that $2,000? The oil change is only what, $60, $70? $2,000? I mean, it's just, when you do the math, I'm not the greatest with math, but I know that 60 is a lot less than 2,000.
And that's
you can reinvest it in your business, you can go on vacation, you might have some home maintenance that you need to do instead, which actually adds to your property value, which gets you a little wealthier. What else? I mean, there's just, so you could even just save it. And to say nothing at the time, because as we spoke before, time is, you know, it's a commodity that doesn't renew itself.
And the example is every person has those tasks that you don't want to do or you think it is.
So Serena said, look, every priority has some task that you don't want to do.
I hate you. I'm taking your vitamins.
You don't like taking
My vitamins.
your vitamins?
Yeah, they're bigger. They're bigger. Also, it's not
It's not yummy, but you have to do it.
I get it. Yeah. Oh.
I've got one for you.
Yeah.
So every year on December 25th, for years, I would throw like this big magical Christmas celebration for the kids.
Yeah.
Love shopping for it. Love decorating for it. You know what I don't like doing?
What?
Wrapping presents. I'm good at it, but
Yeah.
I mean, that sum it up. It's just not. It doesn't really warm the heart. As Marie Kondo would say, it doesn't spark joy.
Okay. If you look at America, it's all the things that you do.
Yeah, marriage. Yes. There's lots of things in marriage that you do that you may not want to do. Yes, that's a big one. Coordinating the schedules and the calendars.
Well, even going to the grocery store.
Going to the grocery store.
Yeah.
In some people's cases, even hanging out with their in-laws, unfortunately.
Yeah. I love my two kids. I love my two kids. But I don't enjoy watching the same cartoon over and over again.
Serena said, look, I love my kids and they are a priority in my life. However, I did not necessarily enjoy watching the same cartoon on repeat.
Yes.
Yes.
But I know that it makes it hot.
But it makes them happy and they're a priority. So I guess, yeah. What it boils down to then, Serena, is that everything we do, there's a part of it that we're going to love, and then it's a part that may be more of a challenge.
Yes. You were really eloquent in that.
Thank you.
I was going to love the part of the
Yeah, there's a part that we just don't like.
A big part is taking care of my body and spirit.
So a big part of being able to perform these tasks, you're saying, is taking care of your mind, your body, and your spirit.
And we're working on one thing we need to focus. And what we do focus is not letting issues flicker.
Alright, I'm not sure if I got everything you said. When we...
A big part of success, a part is focus.
Alright, so a big part of success is focus.
And we don't take care of the little things.
And when we don't take care of the little things,
we lose focus.
We lose focus.
In the back of our minds.
In the back of our minds.
We know we should be doing something else. It's not to get done.
Yeah, and we know there's something we should be doing that we're not getting done. It's like it's just kind of lingering. It's always just hanging right there. You can't even rest, really, right?
You wake up, oh no, I should be taking care of this.
Right. Even when you wake up, it's like, oh, there it is. It's just hanging there, waiting for you, reminding you that it's still there.
Have you for turning off for a while? You do it and it was hard.
Yes, I have put something off and then I've done it and it found out that it really just wasn't that hard. Every time I make phone calls that I don't want to make, yes.
Yeah. And then it lingers.
Yes. Like customer service calls.
Yes. Even me, I don't want to make it, but they need to be a part.
Right. Serena says, he may not want to make something a priority, but then it needs to be a priority. So you finally get it done, or you finally start doing it, and you find out all this time you were avoiding something that really just wasn't that difficult.
No, it never as difficult as it.
Yeah.
And even if it is, know that you are satisfied doing challenges.
Right. So what Serena said was, it's seldom as difficult as it seems. And then even if it is, just know that you're getting something done that's challenging. And once you get it off that list, it's no longer on that list. It's not hanging over your head. You can rest. You can go live your life without having to think about whatever it is that's just lurking there waiting to remind you that you need to do it.
5 minutes, adequate. 5 minutes, I'm Krista this morning.
Serena said, in his case, 5 minutes after his session with his shooting session with his stage partner ended, his remote was ordered. Because if you had left it, it would have been lingering, and then you would have been trying to rush and get it done, or you might have forgotten about it. Because that is part of life too.
Yeah. So, So, I'm pretty sure I do that I'm not life.
A lot of people put off
I'm not life.
various aspects of their lives. What do you mean by that, Serena?
Let's say that you're working. Let's say that you're working.
Alright, so you're working
I'm professional.
on a professional goal.
And you got one I one day, oh my god, there that was funny.
And your thought is, once I reach this goal, then I'll spend time with my family.
On one day I reach a goal, I will get shit.
Right, or once I accomplish this, then I will do that.
Birds need to be accomplished.
Priorities need to be accomplished together.
Not separate.
Not separately. Yeah, you're making me think about something, Serena. I can remember years ago, and the thought was, okay, at some point in life I want to travel, and at some point in life I want to travel and do some kind of service while traveling. And it was something that I could have done then, but I always said, well, I'll do it after this, and I'll do it after that, and I'll do it after the other. And it was like a continuation of putting off life, putting off something I wanted to do. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, but I want to go for it.
Okay, but can I add something real fast?
Yeah.
That idea that I had in my head, I got in my head back in 1995. It is 2019, and guess what? I still haven't done it. Because it was always after something else, after something else, after something else.
Yeah, but I'm not going to do it for you now.
And that's why you have to make if it's a priority, get it done. Don't wait. Live your life.
Let me look at another angle.
Okay.
So, I am just focused on my business right now.
Right, so it is. He's like hyper-focused on his business.
Oh, I think I do.
Yeah, I can see that.
But, yeah, but part of my business is being creative. Part of my business is being creative.
And so part of Serena's business is being creative.
If I don't take time to just be. If I don't take time, we just hang out.
Right, and you know that you have to make time to just hang out. Even though you're focused, you still feel like you need to make time to just hang out.
Because that's when I get most of my ideas.
Because that's when you get most of your ideas.
Yeah, another example is if you have combined behavior.
If you don't.
If you're not engaged.
Alright, so if you're worried about something.
Yeah. Or you have
Right, if there's some kind of barrier, like a psychological barrier.
That will get in the way of everything you really have.
Yeah, it can get in the way of so many things.
Yeah. So if you don't want to afford to take care of your mental health.
Yeah, taking care of yourself, like we said, your mind, your body, and your spirit, taking care of yourself has to be a priority. If you don't do that, then you can't perform those tasks that nobody wants to perform. You can't do anything. So priority A is taking care of you, regardless. Correct, Serena?
Yeah,
Right.
even sleep.
Yes, sleep factors into that. Healthy diet, exercise, prayer, meditation, reading, socializing. The things that make you you. You must do.
Yeah. Next week we're going to go over priority and distraction.
Right. So next week we're going to go over priorities and distractions. And what? Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a hard transition, but it's so important because so often our priorities get shifted or put off to the back burner because of the distractions of life or whatever. So
Yeah. Let me recap.
you want to recap?
So, the priority which we need to understand directly that goes.
Right. So Serena said, look, there are priorities in our lives that we need to do that don't directly impact our goals.
You want to make sure. An example is every chef has to make sure he's there.
Right. So an example of this would be like a chef, right? And you know, they want to make this wonderful, marvelous meal, and you probably want to eat that wonderfully delicious meal. But after they've washed their hands, the next thing they do is they're going to sharpen those knives because nothing happens with a dull knife.
And these are the parts that you don't want to do.
Yeah.
But you have to.
Right. And nobody's saying that chefs get up and they're excited to sharpen the knives. I mean, I don't know. I've never had to sharpen a knife. I've never been a chef. But I would venture to say that there's probably at least one or two chefs out there who don't wake up jumping and giddy about the prospect of sharpening their knives that day.
I gotta see it is cool.
It is cool.
It is cool.
It looks cool. Yeah. Yeah. A stress reliever. Especially at sushi bars. Yeah. It does look cool, but there's probably somebody who doesn't like it. And it still has to be done. I mean, that's just how it is. There's things you don't want to do that you just have to do. You gotta grow up, put on your big panties, and do it.
Many people, they know what needs to be done.
Amazing people.
No one needs to be done.
Yeah, they know they have to do.
And the truth.
And they do it. Because sometimes it's like that Nike ad, right?
Yeah.
You just do it. You don't want to do it. Nobody asked you. Just do it.
Yeah, hashtag Nike.
Hashtag Nike.
Yeah, if you want to really you have to get all the birds, everything you want. And no matter how good your birds are, it's just something that you gotta do.
Right. Look, if you want an amazing life, you gotta look at your priorities. You have to look at what you have to do to make those priorities happen. And then you just have to do it. It's that simple, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's that simply said. Now it's just a matter of acting upon that.
My name is Rosie.
This is Serena Vasegi. I'm Jamila Doolin.
And we want you to go be me.
And we want you to go be amazing.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And go have the most amazing day. Thanks again.